you buying your rank is not being authentic.
No.
And if you have an upline that is telling you to go and buy all this product so that they can rank advance, like it's bullshit.
Today we're going to discuss one of the most crucial skills you need to skyrocket your network marketing business, and stick around because some of these might surprise you. And go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you be sure to not miss any of our new videos. And let us know if you are excited about jumping into the world of network marketing. So, ladies, what do you guys feel like is the number one thing or skill that a person needs to build their business?
I think Fran needs to start us off with a little story time.
So, let me tell you a story. When I first started network marketing, and I thought that I needed to have everything done professionally. I'd come from a professional, from a profession into network marketing. And when I first started building on social media, I thought, well, I didn't even know how to do a selfie, and I thought, well, I need to have professional photos taken. And I looked at top leaders that had all these professional photos taken. So I found a photographer near me, and I went to this photo shoot, and I picked out all the smartest clothes I could find. And we always laugh about this because when I look at my initial...
What are the smartest clothes?
So I had these jackets, well, you might call them blazers. I had these jackets, and
like suit jackets,
like
business people wear,
like business people, because I thought that's the way.
Smart people.
In order to look professional, I needed to
Have a smart jacket.
And so when I first, if I look at the initial stuff that I put out there, it's all me in my smart jackets, which was ridiculous because that's not me. So you do not need to look a certain way. You do not need to wear certain clothes in order to build your network marketing business. The best skill is to learn how to put yourself out there, how to let people get to know the real you, okay? How to be authentic on social media.
Right, which a lot of us end up like faking it till we
I was
make
just
it, or
about to
whatever,
go there.
right? Like, we you see that all over. I won't name names or anything, but in your garage filming with your Lamborghinis, and they're not even
I'll
yours.
name names. Or Lai Topez, we're gonna call him. This is my brand new house that I just bought, and I've only been in business for a month.
Or it's not even your Lamborghini, or it's not even your house, right? You're like, oh, there's a nice, look at that car. I'm going to go get in front of it and take all these pictures so people think I'm really successful.
In my smart jacket.
In my smart jacket.
So what do people think is most important? Like when they go from, just starting out, when they were just starting out, what do they feel like it's important? Because
If you asked me that question 7 years ago, what's the most important skill in network marketing? I would say, duh, it's selling and recruiting.
right.
That's how you grow.
That's how you build a business, right?
But it's actually, like Fran said, it's being authentic, and no one's going to teach you how to be authentic, right? Because when you tell someone just go there and be you, they don't actually know how to do that, because we think that being me is boring. Oh, nothing happens in my life. Like, who would want to know what I'm doing today? I'm not doing anything, right? I barely get out of bed, pushed my alarm, snooze button, went to the bathroom, and I'm thinking about my retirement when I'm still 35 years old. Like, that's pathetic, right? So nobody wants to share the real authentic things that happen in our life. First, we think it's boring, then we think it's not attractive, and then we think that no one wants to listen to it. That's not how you grow, right? Because like I said even earlier, on social media, we see all this glitz and glamour, and we think that that's what's get you successful. But in reality, when you learn how to be authentic, whatever it is going on in your life, and start sharing it, being vulnerable, you're going to start being very relatable to people who just a couple steps behind of you. And when you're going to be relatable, it's going to be so much easier for you to inspire those people, right? And get them to take their first action when you were just a couple of steps ahead of them. Like, you don't have to be a guru. You don't have to know it all. You don't need a smart jacket. So you just need to be a couple steps ahead of someone and be willing to show up with all your authenticity. Yeah.
So I think like what Kat said here, you know, some people like that are listening and watching this episode would think like, why would anybody join me if I'm just a step or two ahead, right? Because a lot of times they want to be that person on stage, or, you know, that's where they want to get in their business. So then they think they have to become that person, wear those smart jackets and all the things.
And fake it.
But actually, right, people can't actually see themselves being that successful, right? They can't see themselves having this team of thousands and recruiting all these people when they haven't even recruited one. But what they can do is they can say, oh my gosh, Carrie, you were a mom like me. I have 3 kids, or, you know, whatever it is. And you shared this, whatever, in your video, like, oh my gosh, we're like the same, right? So
I wanted to share what happened once on one of your live videos.
Oh. So it actually wasn't even me on that live video. It was my husband, Whit. So at the time, I was like at a mastermind or at a workshop, or I was doing something, and my husband was tasked with this job where he was going to be training a community of like hundreds of thousands of people over social media. He was like single dad at home at the time, and he was in the middle of potty training our youngest son at the time, Xandrix. And so he's sitting there, he's live, he's like giving a ton of value, he's in the zone, and Xandrix walks up and says, "Here, Dad," and holds out his hand. And Whit, like, just, sure, like, what do you want to give me? As he's like live, he puts something in his hand, and my husband looks at it and he stops and he's like, I'm live in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Like, what do I do? And he just owned it. He was like, well, I told you guys, like, I was single dad today. My son just came and put poop in my hand. Like, I might need to go wash my hands real quick. I'll be right back. And so he gets off the camera, and then he looks, and there's poop all over the carpet. Like, he had just dropped these deer pellet nuggets as he walked to the bathroom. And so, like, other people, like, would think, oh my gosh, like, that's so unprofessional, like, you know. And instead, raves. Like, people were dying laughing. They're like, how relatable. Like, they said it was one of the most memorable and best trainings they had ever watched in that community, because it literally was real life happening.
Yeah.
In the moment.
In the moment. It brings that human element back into it, where people are like, oh, I have you up on this pedestal because you've been so successful, and I would love to have that life you have and the business you have, but I can't actually see myself getting there. And then you put the human element back into that. You're normal. You're like me. Like, my kid has had poop all over the floor. So like, oh my gosh. Okay. So then in their minds, they're like, I can do what you're doing. Yeah. Right.
Not because I'm not perfect. I don't, I do have weird things that happen.
And who is perfect?
Yeah, no one.
And so, boring. Look at, I mean, when I think of videos of mine that have had thousands and thousands of views, sometimes I've come back from gym sweaty, no makeup on, hair scraped back, greasy hair, and just like I just had this aha moment. I had to share it with you, and it blew up, and when people see you being real, then they think, like, that's me.
It's more relatable.
That's me. I could like.
Well, and I think too, they want to, building network marketing. They want to get to know you. They want people they want to, that they want to work with that are normal human beings, right?
Yeah.
They don't want you to think that you're like this Superman or Superwoman that they can't relate to. So I think it's super important that.
And one thing,
sorry to interrupt you. An example of that was Kat, actually, when she first found us and wanted to join us, she loved Brandy, but to her, Brandy was up here. So she went to somebody else that was underneath Brandy to enroll with him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it ended up working out in the end, but it's an example of people putting other people on pedestals. Yeah. Brandy didn't do anything. She was still herself, but just the fact that she was up here in Kat's brain Kat didn't feel like she could. Like you have to bring that relatability in
relatability
all the
I
time.
was starstruck.
Yeah.
and look at you now.
So I would also drop something here. If you understand this one thing, it's going to help you so much, is that the reason for transaction is relationship.
Yes.
No matter how good your products are, how many ingredients they're organic and whatever, science backed and technology, this and this, no one cares, because guess what? Hundreds of thousands of other people selling exact same thing as you are. And the only difference why someone will buy it from you and not from the Sally next door is the relationship. And when you are relatable, it instantly builds that know, like, and trust, right? It's nice to know how to build the relationships actively and intentionally, but it's a lot nicer to build it passively without you even knowing it, right? By just being who you are. So I think this is so important. And a lot of us, like, if for me, it was like a hot moment, like, why nobody told me that earlier?
You just be who I am and not trying to be someone else.
And so often I mean, live videos is the very best way to build that relationship, to build that know, like, and trust. But so often people think, like, I need to have a script that I'm going to read. It has to be perfect. And if I don't follow the script, no one is going to be able to relate to me. No, go live and just talk and just be natural. And if you screw it up, it's fine. And I can't tell you how many times I've said, I was going to say something and it's literally just gone out of my head. It might come back to me, but
it's all the time.
it
And
happens all
it's
the
not
time.
if you screw it up. You will.
Yeah, you will screw it up multiple times, and then that just makes you so relatable. It's just, then they think, if she can do that, I can do that too. I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to follow a script. I don't have to have all my ducks in a row.
Yeah. And again, it's just another example of how I feel like a lot of the leaders in this industry are failing the industry because, all the glamour, the this, the like, look
fluff.
at me, the like, I mean, and, an example of that is like, we've built an 8-figure business, right? We live a very nice life now. And it's like, I'm still dressing and wearing the same stuff I wear. Like, I'm not saying like, you can't go buy nice things, but I'm still this like same human. If being in front of other people, I'm not going to act and be any other different way. Whereas I feel like there's these performances, and you're performing and you're behaving and acting and appearing differently. And again, I feel like that leadership or whatever that is, it's a disservice because look at how many of these people in this industry think that they have to be like this fake person or they can't be their genuine self. Imagine if all of these, of all the network marketers in here were showing up as their true authentic self, how much more powerful that would be, and how much more successful their business would be because you would have other people, again, that are like, you're just like me, normal person. And if you can do it, I can do it. Right. And so
that's what inspires other people when they can see themselves in your story. Right. That's what makes them to go and take that action.
But also being real and telling the true story.
Absolutely.
Telling the failures as well as the successes. Being honest with your audience. And sometimes, and there have been times when, I've started telling a story that I've ended up crying on video. And I mean, again, there've been so many people who've reached out saying, thank you, thank you so much for actually being real and telling that because, I could relate to that. And, I was there too, or I am there right now. And you've just inspired me.
don't get me wrong. Like in the beginning, I was not my authentic self.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think any of us were.
No, but it's like now, I'm not going to filter myself
through the journey you've discovered.
Right. Yes. And now it's like we're not going to filter ourselves because we're worried about what other people are going to think or offending somebody else, right? Like because I'm going to actually attract more of the people who are in alignment with who I am, what I stand for, and all those things by not filtering myself.
That's what I was just going to bring up. Like when you're not authentic, right? When you're like trying to be someone else. and let's say you're presenting or doing a live or asking someone to join your business, they know something is off. They don't know what, but they can feel it, right? Because you're not being your genuine self, right? Like you're being someone else, and they feel that in it, and they don't know the reason. They may even want to do it, right? But they don't get the reason that it doesn't feel like a fit. The energy is not a match. And so I think the authenticity.
And Adrian has a signature phrase that I want you to repeat if you already said it, like not about being perfect.
Perfect is poor. Yes. And I say that because if you are, waiting for that perfect moment, to put yourself out there, that you have to look perfect, you have to have the perfect outfit, you have to say the perfect thing, your business is never going to move.
Perfect makeup, perfect hair, perfect environment, perfect everything.
I have to say it perfectly. I have to, all the things. Your business is not going to move, and you're going to have no money in your bank account because of it, right? So if you suffer from perfectionitis, right, then your business is just going to be on the shelf because nothing's ever going to happen. You're not going to take the action because you're waiting or trying to be this perfect thing, right?
I didn't know the perfect script because so often people always say to us, just give us a script.
What do
I say?
Yeah.
What do I say? And we say, just be you.
Just be human.
Be a normal human being and speak to other people like a normal human being, because that is, be a human. It's a relationship business. And so often people they need to know the right things to say. Well,
There's no right
thing to say. You just, find out more about them. Be curious about them. Be more interested in them than you are about, that you are interested in. And find out about them and see how you can help them, see how you can serve them.
And one thing I want to just a bomb I want to drop in here right now, because it needs to be said, is you buying your rank is not being authentic. No. And if you have an upline that is telling you to go and buy all this product so that they can rank advance, it's bullshit. It's not real. Right. You're people can see right through that.
Failure,
setting themselves up for failure.
Yes.
And I mean, it's something that I'm it's got to stop, right? Because it puts a bad taste in that person's mouth, because we're not getting started in network marketing to rank advance.
No.
Right? We get started to make money. That's what we want. And then if we're going and turning around and spending all of our profits on product
that we didn't need, we haven't sold, didn't make us rank advance or get another check. I mean, if it makes sense to buy, $200 in products so that you hit that next rank and you get a huge bonus, that makes sense, right? That cash flows on an actual financial sheet, right? But if you're just buying $6,000 worth of, product to stick it wherever so that you can walk the stage as, whatever, it's not.
We might
have done it.
We've all done it. We all felt the pressure.
How do you actually feel though once you've gotten that rank advance and that recognition?
It feels
when you
fake.
got your
it
weight.
Was fake.
Because I heard an incentive trip, and that was a year-long process where you had to have a certain amount of points every single month, right? And I had gotten into month number 9, still qualifying, and I'm this many months to go. There's no way I cannot earn it at this point. And I was going to come up some short, and I'm okay, my dog is my customer. So-and-so is my customer. They don't know it. I'm just putting my email, but whatever, all this stuff. And when I got there, I was did I even build this?
It doesn't feel.
So
it's like you win it, because you won it, and you want to have this recognition and be look at me, I earned an incentive trip.
You're not proud of that achievement anymore.
No.
So I did it once.
It wasn't real.
Yep, I did it once, and I remember when we we left one company, we went to another time story, whatever. But we went to this new company. Brandy and I looked at each other, and we were we are not buying any rank. And when we hit the ranks, it was 10 times the amount of celebration than we ever did in the past, because it was it was real. Yeah. It was real.
Although
we really did
longer,
it.
Right?
It took a little longer because we weren't, telling our downline, buy a little bit of extra product there, buy a little of extra product here. Instead, it was, let's make this real. Yeah. Let's make it long term.
And do the work. Do the
And
work
do the work.
to get to where we need it.
You know, sometimes though, like, you know, I'm not going to put all the blame on the network marketer, because there's a lot of companies that push it
Yes,
at their events,
Yeah.
and they make you feel like you're missing out on something, you know, where
Inflating
they
the product volume,
or they disguise it,
you know, so much
they
time.
disguise it on getting ahead and earning travel points to your next blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So if you buy this many packages already right now, right? And it's like all you're having is your own distributors buying up all your own stuff. Like, so don't get sucked into that. If it does happen, you know,
Actually, FDA now is going after people who do that. So it's even illegal. So you can be shut down if you do that.
I actually once, you know, when I was still building old school, before I knew about social and how to build on social media, and I had recruited a lot of friends, family, and I had bought a lot of product that's years later. I still have a lot of it.
we all have that one closet.
Honestly, you know,
It's a cupboard in my kitchen. I open it.
Cupboards of storage boxes, you know, under. Anyway, another story. But I actually hit a leadership rank. I went to a leadership conference, and at that leadership conference, while everyone has been recognized and, you know, celebrated, one by one, every single one of my friends that I'd enrolled messaged me while I was there and said, I can't do this anymore, okay? Because not only had I been buying it, but I'd encouraged them to do the same, okay? And because it was party planned, and every single one of my parties, bar one, cancelled. My business literally fell to pieces while I was sitting at that leadership conference. I had nothing.
Because it wasn't real.
Because it wasn't real.
wasn't real.
It wasn't real.
Yeah.
So don't get sucked into that trap. And, you know, if you have been, we've all done it.
Yeah.
It's okay, but just recognize that it's not
not how it's supposed to be.
And it's
That's
not
how
serving
supposed to
you.
be.
It's
It's
not
not
serving
serving
you.
you.
It's not
And it's
serving
not
your
how
team.
the industry's
or the
supposed to
industry.
be.
No,
Yeah.
you know,
Like
and you'll end up with a not-for-profit business. I had a not-for-profit business.
I had a
Me
not-for-profit business for a very long time. But she had a smart jacket. A smart jacket made up for it. And here's the thing. If smart jackets are your jam, like,
Do it.
do it. Run with it. But if it's not, don't try to fake being that person, because people see right through fake day in and day out.
Yeah.
So don't forget to join our free community of over 10,000 network marketers, where they learn tips and tricks, strategies to grow their businesses to 6 and 7 figures. You're able to find that link somewhere in the description, and we'll see you on the next episode. Stick around.
Sorry, Brad.
That learning the secrets for 6 and 7 to become 6 and 7 owner. You'll find the link in the description. What?